Come show your glory. Come show your face. Come light a fire in us. Breathe on this place.
Hey everyone, how's your fast going? I hope that you are sticking with it. We're happy to see you this morning. We want to let you know about some things coming up here at the house and 4 ways for you to be part of our church community. The first way is through Next Steps. If you're new or newer here, Next Steps is our process to help you become a part of this community at the house. We have 3 steps through our Next Steps process. Step 1 is open house lunch. That's a time for you to come to meet some of our team and to have lunch together. Step 2 is mission and values, where you get to hear the mission, values, and where we're going as a church community. And finally, step 3 is the house is my home, where you can officially make this house your home church. Today, immediately after service in the library, we're going to be hosting step 2, which is mission and values. If you've yet to do step 2, I want to encourage you, go today. If you have time, you are more than welcome to join with us. The second way to be a part of our church community is through groups. Groups exist to help you grow and develop in community here at the house. Come February, we're going to be starting groups again. If you would like to go ahead and sign up for a group, you can go ahead and go online to our website and click groups. On groups, you can go ahead and sign up for a group today. The third way to be a part of our church community is through events. Events are our one-time experiences to help inspire and encourage our church community. We want to encourage you, keep going as we do this 21 days of fasting and praying together as a church community. We hope that you are already receiving and hearing from the Lord. We want to remind you to not forget that on the 28th, we'll be culminating our time of fasting and praying with a celebration service that morning with baptisms happening after service. If you would like to get baptized, or if you know someone who wants to get baptized, you can go ahead and sign up online under our Coming Soon page. That night, we'll also have a worship night. So go ahead and save the date. We'll see you there.
Hey, if you're a musician and want to join the worship team, now is your chance. January 21st, we are having worship auditions here at the church. So if you or anybody you know want to try out, go ahead and RSVP online on our Coming Soon page.
The fourth way to be a part of our church community is through classes. Classes exist to help you learn biblical principles to grow your faith. Starting next month, we are going to begin our next series of classes with Pastor Barbara Wright, titled The Life and Times of Jesus. If you've ever wanted to learn more about Jesus, I want to encourage you, sign up today under our Coming Soon page. Take these opportunities to really grow and engage your faith. We hope that you're enjoying our series titled All Things New. We look forward to seeing you next weekend here at the house.
Hey, welcome to the house. My name is Wes. My wife Vanessa and I, we're the lead pastors here. And thank you so much for joining us today, wherever you're watching from. And if you have any questions about who we are, what we're about, or how you can join us for a live in-person service, you can check out thehousela.org. Especially thanks to those of you you've liked, subscribed, you've shared on Facebook. Some of you shared every single week. Just want to say thank you so much for doing that. It helps us get the message of Jesus out. Hey, today we're on part 3 of this series of All Things New. It's a brand new year. God's doing exciting things. We're in the midst of 21 days of praying and fasting, which has just been so exciting. There's been incredible stories and breakthroughs throughout this time. It's not too late if you did want to join us for the 21 days of prayer and fasting. Maybe it's not 21 days, it's like the final 7 or the final 3. On our website, thehousela.org, you'll see a guide, a prayer and fasting guide. There's a book on there that one of our pastors, Pastor Dave Patterson, wrote as a guide for prayer and fasting. We've got a Spotify playlist on there for you, some worship songs, and a guide for you as you're going about your fast. So you can check that out. The thing I'm really excited about is next week On January 28th, we are going to culminate and celebrate the end of this 21 days of prayer and fasting with the citywide worship night. That's Sunday night, 6 o'clock. We have regular service in the morning. It's going to be powerful and awesome. And then Sunday night, we're going to have a special citywide worship night. We're inviting everyone can come. Every church, everywhere. Come check it out. We have our worship team is mingling in with a bunch of other worship teams from other churches. And so you'll definitely want to come and be a part of that. It's going to be a great night. There's no cost to that. Just come ready to worship at 6 o'clock. Today we're doing part 3 of All Things New. And we're talking about get clean. Get clean. Get clean. Week number 1, we talked about get clear. Get some clarity on your goals. Last week we talked about community, and today we're going to talk about get clean. The Gospel of John, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they're very similar. They're called the Synoptic Gospels, and they're kind of like, just this awesome, trifecta of friends, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Their Gospels are very similar to each other. A lot of the same stories are recorded in Matthew, Mark, and Luke because you're getting 3 different perspectives on the life and the teachings of Jesus. Now, John is a little bit different. In John, the Revelator, who not only wrote the Gospel of John, also wrote Revelation. He has no parables in the Gospel of John. He talks a lot about light and darkness, and it's very it's very just poetic. He's the creative of the group. If you had to put Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John next to each other, you go, which one is the guy writing a worship song or a love song? It's going to be John, okay? One of the guys that probably likes cooking more than the others, it's probably going to be John, I would think. If you're like, who's starting a business? That's going to be Matthew. His is just very linear, right? And so John is a little bit different in that. And so John doesn't record the Great Commission like Matthew does. Matthew does a Great Commission. Hey, go into all the nations, preaching the gospel, baptizing them, teaching them to obey all that I've taught you. That's in Matthew 28. John does give us what's called the Great Commandment. So not the Great Commission, but the Great Commandment. And in this recorded in John 13:34, where he says, love each other just as I have loved you. Just as I've loved you, you should love each other. And you may not agree with Jesus. Maybe someone sent you this video and you're watching and say, hey, I don't agree with Jesus, but I agree with that. I agree with love. Love is such a general term that everyone agrees with it. No one says, no, we should hate people. We should crush them and kill them. No, everyone is going to agree with the thought and the topic of we should love each other. We should just love one another because it's vague. It doesn't have any definitive answers. It has no kind of beginning and end. It's very vague. There's no decimal system in love. Because if someone said, well, what about that one over there? No one's gonna be like, no, we should hate them. We should shame them. There are no carve-outs on love. There's no, hey, you can love these people, but except for this group right here, you're not supposed to love them. You just crush them, Some people, by the way, are really easy to love. Like friends who laugh, friends who are light, friends who are good cooks, friends who are generous. They're always buying, the next round of food, or hey, the appetizers are on me tonight. Oh my gosh, you are so easy to love. Hey, it's your birthday. You remembered my birthday? Yeah, it's your birthday, and brought you this gift. A couple months ago, you said you've been really looking forward to this concert, and it's coming up at the Hollywood Bowl, and I got you 2 private tickets and VIP. It's like, oh my goodness, that is someone who's easy to love. But there's also others that require all of the grace of heaven and earth to love. Extra grace required. We like that the word love, and most people don't even have a problem with this great commandment because love is really up for definition. I love my wife, and so I'm going to show her mushy love. Mushy love, and you hug them and you kiss them and all the other fun stuff, and it's just mushy love. But then others that you don't like, you could still say that you love them, but you give them tough love. No, they need some tough love. They need some rules, some regulations, some boundaries. We also forget the part where Jesus says that there's no greater love that anyone has than the one who lays down their life for their friends. That's the greatest. It's like the chief love. I would argue today, because we're talking about love and we're going to get into some forgiveness here as well, I would argue that the gospel is proven in us when we love those that we don't want to love and we forgive those that we don't want to forgive. The gospel is proven when we love those that we don't want to love and we forgive those that we don't want to forgive, because some people are hard to love and some people, they just don't seem like they're worthy of forgiveness. Mark 11 is one of my first Bible scriptures I've ever memorized. Was this in Mark 11. It's the faith part, verse number 24. But he says this: Jesus walked by, he curses his fig tree. Verse number 12. It says, the next morning they were leaving Bethany. Jesus was hungry. He noticed a fig tree in full leaf a little way off. Oh man, let's go get some fruit. So went over to see if he could find any figs. Looking around, nothing but leaves. It's too early in the season for fruit. Jesus said to the tree, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. And the disciples heard him say it. Verse 20. The next morning, they're passing by that same tree again, that fig tree that he had cursed. And the disciples noticed it had withered from the roots up. Peter remembered what Jesus said on the previous day and exclaimed, look, Rabbi, teacher, the fig tree that you cursed, it's withered away from the roots up. Jesus said to his disciples, have faith in God. I love these. These are faith scriptures. Remember, this is one of the first scriptures. Mark, verse 24 is one of the first memory verses I ever memorized as a kid. He says, I tell you the truth, you can say to this mountain, may you be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and it will happen, but you must really believe that it will happen and have no doubt in your heart. He says, I tell you, you can pray for anything. And if you believe that you received it, you get it. You have it. In the King James, which is the one I memorized, whatsoever things ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive and ye shall have it. That's a lot of ye's. Verse 25, Jesus adds on this little caveat. He goes, but when you are praying, first forgive anyone you're holding a grudge against, so that your Father in heaven will forgive your sins too. You can write this thought down. Your prayers, or you can make it personal, my prayers are powerful. Like, your prayers can move mountains. I love big prayers. It's, like I said, first verse I ever memorized. It's a faith verse. Whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive and you shall have it. Man, I believe it. I have it in my heart. I'm going to have it in life. I believe those things. And so when someone comes in with a big need or a big prayer, I'm like, our church, I'm your guy, we are your people, let's pray, let's believe God for big miracles. Some of the most memorable prayers that I ever remember praying was when I really started serving the Lord when I was about 15, 16 years old. One of my family members, my mom, was not serving the Lord yet. And for the next 5.5 years, I prayed for her almost every single day. I would pray and I would go in her room when she wasn't home and I'd do a Jericho march around her bed and I would anoint the room with oil. I would do all the crazy aunt stuff, right? And I'm praying, I'm just, God, save my mom and God, move on her heart. And when I was 21 years old, I invited her to an Easter service in Kirkland, Washington. And my late pastor, Pastor Wendell, preached a message called And Some Doubted. He was talking about Thomas. So it said, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and his side, I won't believe. He said, but some doubted. And it was just this really warm, accepting message on it's okay if you've ever had doubt, because even Thomas doubted. And it was that day that my prayers were answered when my mom walked down the center aisle of that church and made the decision to follow Jesus. Memorable prayers. Or how about this? Prayers at the beginning of our church when Pastor Vanessa and I and one of our friends, we got together and we prayed for the church. It was on March 18th, a year before we launched as a church in 2018. And we could just feel the Lord giving us a word for the city. And we're in our living room in Encino and we could just feel, and the Lord gave Pastor Vanessa a word like, I have heard the prayers of my people. It was like a text out of Exodus. Big prayers. I love big prayers. We all love the part about praying in faith, seeing mom get saved, seeing churches get planted, seeing families brought back together. It's like, mountain, you go. mountain of debt, you go. We're like, yeah, let's go. But there's a caveat. There's a carve out. There's an asterisk where Jesus says, if you're holding a grudge, it could actually be holding you back. While you're saying, let's go, like your big prayers of faith, like, yeah, let's go. God's saying, let it go. Let it go. Otherwise, the unforgiveness is going to be a barrier for your own prayers. You can't ask God, hey, God, can you give me something? And then when he goes to give it to you, your hands are filled with unforgiveness, and so you can't receive it. You're saying, hey, God, can you give me that thing? It'd be like, I got a water bottle right here. It'd be like, hey, God, can you give me that thing? And you're asking God to hand you something. And you're saying, God, can you give it to me? And he goes, okay, open up your hands. He says, no, I want you to give it to me, but I don't want to let go of what I'm holding in my hands. That's what unforgiveness is. Unforgiveness is holding on to something, and it's restricting your ability to receive from God, to receive answered prayers. We hold on to unforgiveness for many reasons. We hold on to unforgiveness because what they did was wrong, because it was hurtful. How about this? We hold on to unforgiveness because they never apologized. Or one of my personal favorites, and when I say that with like tongue in cheek, it's a little bit of it's like one of the worst ones, is where they actually defend their actions. So if there was an equation of, hey, is this person worthy of forgiveness? You would be proven right. What they did was wrong. They never apologize. They're not worthy of that forgiveness. But what if you saw unforgiveness as a weight? What if you saw unforgiveness as something that was in your hands that's keeping you from receiving all that God has for you? Sometimes we hold on to unforgiveness because someone gave us a wound at a young age, or someone said something that was hurtful, or someone said something that was harmful, and so we hold on to it with the hope that maybe they will repent. We hold on to our hurt and unforgiveness, waiting for that person to repent or ask for forgiveness. And for some, that moment will never come. And what you can't do going into this new year, we're talking about all things new, what you can't do is give that person's apology or waiting for that apology an authority over your future. Waiting for someone else to apologize, waiting to forgive someone until they apologize. Say, I'm not going to forgive you until you apologize, is like giving that person the keys to your future. What if one of the greatest miracles that you will experience this year is not a mountain that will be moved, but forgiveness that was given? Not a mountain, not a whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive. Verse 24, and you will have it. Verse 25, by the way, if you hold a grudge in your heart and you're going before God, make sure that you forgive that grudge in your heart. Otherwise, how could God answer your prayers or forgive your sins while you're holding on to that thing? You only get to hold on to one. You either get to grab a hold of your future or you get to hold on to the hurt of your past. And if I were with you in person, I would kind of, if I could just reach through this screen right now and say, grab a hold of your future. Grab a hold of your future. Let go of that thing in the past so that you can grab a hold of all that God has for you. You say, well, Pastor, what about everything that they did? Well, let me say a couple things what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not accepting their behavior. It's not, well, you did your part and I did my part. Forgiveness is not saying that it's okay. Forgiveness, by the way, is not permission to do it again. Forgiveness is not freedom from consequences. Doesn't mean, if someone embezzled from your company, you can forgive them and they still have to kind of take it up with the law. Or if someone hurt you or abused you, they still have to, they still may have to kind of go away or do a little bit of time, or, there's other consequences that come from those things. Forgiveness does not mean freedom from consequences. Forgiveness also doesn't mean access. You can forgive someone and not give them the keys to your home. That comes from trust. Forgiveness does not mean access. So you could be asking how to forgive. How do I forgive someone or a group or something that happened. How do I move on? Because what you don't want to do, we're talking about all things new, you don't want to take in old, crusty unforgiveness from the past into 2024. You don't want to try to take it with you. It doesn't match the new style for the new you. So number one, here's what you can do. You can ask God to help you forgive them. This thing is a miraculous thing. I love that Jesus talks about this in the midst of moving mountains. He goes, hey, we're going to believe for miracles. Forgiveness. And this one right here, this may take you some time. You may have to day after day say, God, would you help me to forgive so-and-so? What they did was hurtful. What they did was wrong. But I do not want to hold on to this unforgiveness in my heart. God, today, right now on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or Thursday, God, today, will you help me to forgive? Number two, you can ask a friend to help you pray. You can invite a friend into that prayer. It's got to be a trusted friend, someone in your Connect group. We have Connect groups starting up here next month in February. Connect group leader, hey, can you help me as I pray and process through this? I'm praying, I don't feel it yet. I don't feel like I want to yet, but I know that this is the direction I want to go. Not to kind of lessen the impact, but not very often when I go to the gym, or maybe you go to the gym, or you go do an exercise, do you wake up going, man, I can't wait to do this? No, the feelings aren't there. They catch up later. You go, okay, I'm going to do this. And then afterwards, you're like, I'm glad I did that. There will always be an excuse not to go work out. There will always be an excuse not to forgive. Number three, continually remind yourself that God has forgiven you. So first one is you're praying to God. Second one is you're inviting a friend to join you. The third one is you remind yourself, God, you've forgiven me of so much. I don't want to hold on to this when you've already forgiven me of this. Doesn't make what they did right, doesn't make it okay, but God, I'm reminded of your great generosity towards me. As we go into 2024 together, talking about all things new, let's go into 2024 with no weight. No additional weight and burden of unforgiveness slowing you down or holding you back. As we close today, let me give you 3 practical things that you can do this month that will help you move forward in all things new. Number 1, come to church every single week. I know we only got 1 more week left, but just make it a point. I'm going to be at church on January 28th. I'm coming. I'm going to make it a point. Maybe you're watching this after. You say, I'm just going to make it a point. I'm going to be at church every single week. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be in the room, okay? Number 2, join a Connect group. Last week we talked about being clear on who your community is. And a Connect group is it's a group of people here in the church, and some of the groups meet online, and we have classes as well. So we're going to invest and encourage each other in our journey of following God. Number 3 is that we are going to start this year with worship. January 28th, we're going to do a big citywide worship night at 6 o'clock at night. We have regular service in the morning. It's going to be powerful. I can't wait to be at that service. But at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a special worship service citywide. So there's lots of churches who are involved in this worship night, and you definitely want to come and be a part of that at 6 o'clock. And for all of this information, you can check out on thehousela.org. So let me pray for you as we close today. Jesus, I'm praying for friends who are watching this who actually have just deep things of forgiveness that they need your help with. I know that there are people watching this who have experienced injustices that I could not even understand or imagine. There's people watching this right now, maybe even tears streaming down their face as they think about things that they're battling through to forgive that person or those people. And I'm praying, God, by the help of the Holy Spirit, that you would help them forgive so that they can go forward into this year new, without the weights of the past. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey friend, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Again, big encouragement to be a part of one of our Connect groups. You need people around you who are going to encourage you in that journey, and you'll find that along the way, there will be people who need your encouragement as well. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you who have joined with us in sponsoring the mission of God here at the house. I want to invite you, if you have yet to join us in that journey of generosity, I'm going to invite you to join with us as we stretch as a church to do more that God has called us to do. I'm going to invite you to join that journey with us. You can check out thehousela.org/give. You can participate in that either one time or reoccurring. No gift is too big or too small. God bless, and I can't wait to see you back next week as we finish up this series on all things new.